Well, this is stupid. He's not talking as much as last time. I think that seizure in his arm has reached his brain. We were going to get some of his bizarre, stupid banter, but I guess just nothing wants to work for us today.
He had an ambulance.
Oh, goodness. He's made such a scene that now everyone knows we're here. What is this, a Michael Jackson wannabe party?
They're all concerned about his embolism that just happened.
But see, look at every single one of them wishes they were in the Michael Jackson backup dancer. Whoa, he really wants it. He's feeling it for real.
He really is.
This guy's going, yeah, check me, strut my stuff. He's just channeling Shia LaBeouf. No. Oh, now he is too. What about you? Ooh, he's channeling the actual Joker. He's the best. Come on, I want you to do it. Come on, hit me. Okay, fine. I will, because I'm angry. Would you want to tell the nice people why I'm angry? Oh, I am straddling his butt.
Technology and their
and the lack thereof.
Their comfortable and acceptable monopolies.
That's not even the reason. The reason is that life sometimes just sucks. We spent literally it had to have been almost 45 minutes because
when life peas in your Cheerios, you call it lemonade and drink it.
Wow. I'm not even joking. It had to have been about 45-ish minutes. Because my computer did the funny thing where when the power cable disconnects, it won't receive power ever again. It goes, oh, we can't trust this power source. We can't let you use it. We'll have to put your computer on lockdown. So it'll just run like a freaking calculator from 1965. So that obviously meant we couldn't record because the frames were about in the negative 8 million. And so we spent 45 minutes fiddling,
so
and I'm just in a sour mood.
Yes, you are. You're certainly. I think that's going to come off far more uncomfortable than you meant it.
Well, good. Now you know a fraction of how I feel. We're supposed to go in here, actually.
So I actually am going to make the case for...
We can't because we don't have the last canister, so I'm not going to go in here.
As much as
I'm going to eat some ice cream.
There are a lot of people that will swear by, like Asus. I know is a very popular brand because they have the whole Republic of Game deal, and then what's it called?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, Republic of Game is their kind of upper echelon brand of. Well, it's become a little bit more of a midway for budget gaming, but then. You have people that swear by Alienware, which is just a beefed up Dell, and they're wrong. And I actually am going to make the case that Acer, to me, is the superior of a lot of brands. And I know that will get some hate because some people think Acer is just a budget piece of crap. However, they have definitely carved out that comfortable budget line. However, they have the Predator, which is far superior than anything I've ever seen. So...
I'm just letting you talk because I want to eat ice cream because I'm mad.
He's drowning his soul in dairy.
Okay, I slightly feel better.
Anywho, but I think that Acer's great. So.
I've heard a lot about is it called Riser or Razer?
Yeah, Razers are great, but they're expensive. That's the only thing.
Well, I feel like Razer is what Alienware used to be.
Razer's what Alienware wanted to be. I don't think Alienware ever was.
I think it was for a time. I think back in like the early 2010s, they knew what they were doing. Unlike me, I just took off in a direction without actually having considered it. I feel like that was also back when... I feel like Alienware had its time where it knew what it was doing and it was sort of the king of the current technology, but then the technology moved so fast that they couldn't keep up.
Exactly.
So maybe Razer down in like 10 years won't matter. Hey, there's a riddle. Oh, this is actually... There you go. This will warm my cockles.
I don't think we want to hear about your warmed cockles.
Yes, I need some warmth in my cockles. Okay. Well, that was a strange way to do
I
that.
don't think I want your warmth in my cockles. Warm your own cockles.
What? Excuse me? Oh, I'm treating this giant barge like something I can move around. And tried to be like, come on, Batman, pull. Given those beefy
lats.
pecs, I bet you he could have done it, but
Look at that.
I guess it's his off day today. Oh, I made that too far away, didn't I? Probably. Oh, that was a super jump if ever I saw one. Anywho.
So, yeah, computers. Can't live with them. Can't live... Actually,
Can't live with them. Could certainly live without them.
Yeah. I was actually going to make the comment...
that the Amish were right.
Well, it's not too far off, because we were talking about this with cars the other day, is that the less electrical computer control, the better.
Very true. Here is the last, really the true last of our interactions with Freeze. We got him back,
sad.
his wife, and he's pining. And of course... but, of course, the Riddler's going to come along and ruin it, so... Oh, not that.
The Riddler?
Wait.
The Riddler comes and ruins it.
Wait, family photo. Like, that's probably one of his most insensitive riddles. Just being like, hey, this dude lost his wife, ain't it great? But anyways, I wonder if we can talk to him. I think we can. Because we haven't talked to him. I think he'll have like a scene thanking us for this. Whoa! Is he standing on something, or is he just a mammoth? Dude, he's got to be standing. Is the icy standing on off the ground? Dude! Okay, this had to have been some kind of glitch. He was not this much bigger than us when we fought him.
You're right.
Because Batman's supposed to be like 6-something, isn't he? He's not a shrimp.
He's definitely not Goliath.
He's
which is what Mr. Freeze is right now.
Well, seriously, we're only up to like his mid-chest.
What's with the weird skein-do he's got in his leg?
Skein-do?
It's a boot knife. It's a Scottish boot knife.
I've never heard... Oh, you're talking about... I think... At first, I thought that was pipe. I think it probably... Ooh, okay, there's a different...
That's a different pipe.
I think it's probably is pipe, this little thing, but I can sort of see how you were getting at that, because especially from this angle, that just looks like Aragorn. It kind of looks like Aragorn's knife.
Exactly.
Like the weird curvy thing. Okay, so Freeze is gigantic.
Freeze is a gigantic...
They had to have screwed that up. Like this is probably like a different character model than the one you fight. Because he's enormous.
Freakish Dunedain.
Was the Dunedain huge?
No, I'm saying because of the Aragorn.
Oh,
comparison.
I thought maybe I was gonna give you credit. I was like, oh, maybe they weren't the people of Numenor supposed to be like larger than life?
Numenor was larger, yeah.
Well, the Dunedain are half Numenorians.
Well, sure.
So I can make a good point now and then.
It's like the Nephilim making giants.
The Nephilim making... I thought the Nephilim were the giants.
No, the Nephilim were the angels that...
wasn't the argument that the Nephilim were that the giant, like Goliath, was probably a descendant of...
Yeah, he was a descendant of the Nephilim, yes.
I don't know if is that scripturally founded at all, or is that just based on...
It's largely accepted on a broad academic level just because there's enough...
I apparently left a Riddler book trophy behind when I was doing my...
literary and, I would argue, even maybe archaeological evidence to suggest that that's
Archaeological? I've never heard about that.
But...
okay.
Anywho, so cars...
The less computers you have in your life, the better.
Yes.
They are nothing but
trouble.
trouble.
We all need to return to the carbureted.
Well, we talked about that, but when I say computers, you could live without them...
We mean it.
I'm not... I recognize that that's like a sweeping claim.
Well, and it's also a bit ironic considering we're on the computer.
Well, true, but I mean, you don't need us around, do you? I thought there's supposed to be a Riddler trophy right behind me.
I feel like this has become some awkward advertisement like those junior high, back when I was in junior high and they were doing the go outside, encourage people to play.
It might be there.
play some baseball or basketball or whatever.
Well, because when I say, like, oh, the Amish were right, I think... What? Thanks for this dramatic cutscene. Oh, it's a memory game. Because the Riddler's stupid. I'm not totally on board with, like, the Amish lifestyle. But I feel like, you could scale it back a bit. Like, I'm fine with cars, but limited use of technology, I'm like, yeah, you know what? We'd probably be better off if we could get along without it. Like, I don't know. What if you, like, I think, what if it was like you had, I've even seen some people talk about this. Oh, boy. I'm not going to be able to, it was middle,
Center,
edge.
far right.
It was this middle one, right?
Yep.
And then did it go, it went this one or that one?
Nope, to that one.
Are you sure?
Yep. And then that one.
I knew it was those two last, but yay! Okay. Like, what if you had to like charge? It was like the old cartoon classic of like a treadmill that powered a generator. So it's like you could have your electricity. What the bat, man?
What the
That was really weird.
What a crazy bat skates!
So it's like you could get power enough to run your various devices, but you had to work for it, and therefore you would use it more sparingly and make it more worth your while.
Sure.
Because then you'd use technology the way it was intended, which was, what? There's still one there. The one I just got wasn't that one.
Well, you'd use it as a resource rather than a commodity.
Yes, whereas, because I think the joke is, it's not a joke, really the fact is, I suppose on a cosmic level it's the joke, is that technology, the whole point of it is it's like, oh, it's meant to save you time, and it used to do that back when it was simple. Yeah. But now all it does is get you to waste your time because it makes you think it's more useful than it really is.
Well, and I think that is actually
okay, so we got three buttons.
To the even returning to kind of the car analogy, but I think it's where
something tells me if I
technology
get off of these, they're not
initially was supposed to like aid us in just things that we shouldn't have to do repeatedly. Like, for instance, automatic wipers weren't a thing back in the day. It was like you had to actually manually wipe your wipers, and okay, that was just what it was. I could understand where going,
well, that's
I
the
can
thing.
just turn this on.
I don't believe in, but to get back to the car thing for a second, I don't necessarily believe in, like, oh, there should be no electronics in cars. I just don't think there should be computers, and that's a big difference.
Yes.
I don't want to have to manually crank my car every morning to get it to turn on, to get it to turn over.
Yes.
But I don't want a computer micromanaging everything it does either.
Well, what I was going to say, though, was...
So I think these are the ones where if I step off of them...
The whole reason
I have to do
why
some kind of,
those kinds of things were added in
cars
is because... And I'm going to say something rather sweeping.
I gotta say something here if I could say something.
Is that they are... It's really indicative of laziness in men.
Ain't it so?
Because... The issue and the reason that those things were added is the same reason now you have things like autopilot, where it's like people just get tired of looking at the road, and it's like, I don't really want to have to pay attention to whether I'm hitting the guy ahead of me, so just turn this on and make my car think for me. It's
the less you think for yourself, the worse life gets.
Correct.
That's put it on a t-shirt. Well, now I thought about this when I was editing the last video. I think the phrase, what did I say when you said the suspect thing? I think I said
thing.
I think I said the subtext is not welcoming.
What?
Because you said something that could have been interpreted in a slightly askew way. And I think I said the subtext is not welcoming. And I feel like that just belongs on a shirt. Anyways, we've got our Riddler trophies. I am going to finish off my ice cream while Batman stares. He does that a lot.
Oh, he's actually looking around too, like, what am I supposed to be staring at?
I'll tell you, this coconut cream ice cream is an interesting flavor, but I'm not sure I'm crazy about it. I like coconut occasionally.
It's the consistency for me. There's a bit of a
It's more puddingy than most ice cream.
Yeah, I don't know how many of you guys are texture eaters, but because I wouldn't consider myself a texture eater, but there are certain things that I go, ooh.
I feel like everyone's a texture eater to a point.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
there's certain things you just go,
like,
no.
Like the reason you wouldn't eat your own vomit is not just because it would taste bad.
Sure. Let's talk about that.
I'm saying there's something about certain textures that you're just like, no.
Okay.
I think probably some people are more sensitive to it. Like, there's things that I like the flavor of that I don't like the texture of and thus don't like to eat. We talked about this in one of our very earliest recordings that never saw the light of day, where we talked about how I would eat grits if they didn't have the texture of grits.
You know what was it? I like fish as long as it doesn't taste like fish. I don't think you like fish.
Because, like, I don't mind the taste of grits because I like corn-based stuff.
Is grits corn-based? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's cornmeal.
Huh.
I'm one of these people, by the way, when it comes to ice cream.
And I'm not. I make it even more uncomfortable because I just lick the bowl.
If you mean to tell me you could get your face in there without just getting it all over your face, then I'm not sure you
I
can...
just embrace that part of it.
Okay. I'm not sure I want ice cream on my face. In my face is something.
I want ice cream all over me. I want all kinds of ice cream.
Thank you for indulging me. I'm back to my normal levels of anger at the world.
That's the casual nihilism that we embrace.
No, see, it's not casual nihilism. It's just absurdism. Get it right. But anyways, the Amish and their lifestyle not being as laughable as you might think.
Or at
Because
least
I think they take it to an extreme, but I'm like, you know what? If you lived, say, on a farm out in Montana, and you had one energy generator, even if it wasn't, let's say it's not like an exercise-based thing. What if it was just you had a generator that required
solar,
gas?
Yeah, or even solar.
So you're going, we have to pay for our electricity, which you already are doing. That's the other thing. I mean, this could open a whole bunch of cans of worms. But the further you are from the production of your commodities, the less you value them.
Yep.
Because you just get a bill every month that says, here's how much your electricity costs, and you just kind of go, well, okay, I'm sure they know what they're doing over there.
Right.
Whereas if you're like, no, we have a generator that requires gas and occasional maintenance, so I'm going to treat the electricity I get out of it with respect. Oh, it's our friend.
Even with gas.
I just realized our friend's up on the Ferris wheel.
Back when oil was an actual, when oil was refined and mined in, like, our great state of Texas, it's far easier to actually have a tangible representation of what that industry looks like. Whereas if it's just some overseas weird thing that you go, I just heard about this. You don't.
We got two of these.
That actually kind of speaks to the larger commentary of what we had talked about with going back to individuality, because
Where does you lead?
The broader the power,
okay,
the
timer's
worse it
going off.
gets. It needs to be rather
I need to know
focused, I suppose. If you look at, like, again, state-to-state government and all this kind of stuff.
We don't need... We just had a controversial episode.
know.
Do we need another one?
I'm just saying.
Let's chase away those last few subscribers.
That's really our
Okay, so hang on. There's a button on top that has a timer, but I imagine it's some...
No, my point is people need to start taking responsibility for their own individual stuff. And if you actually begin doing that, you'll realize real quick that you value the things you have more.
Well, yeah. I don't know. That got slightly more moral than I was meaning. And, like, I was just meaning, like, on a literal level, if you had to actually produce your own electricity, you'd appreciate it more. Not like the ethics of modern living.
Well, not specifically ethics, but
Where
just
does that
even
lead?
Maybe
I'm on the wrong side.
Functionality of it. I mean, because
here's what a moment I had in my life was I was on a plane.
Epoch, if you will.
Epoch is certainly longer than a moment.
It can be.
No, an epoch is an actual unit of time that's like massive.
No,
it's up there with
it's
the eon. No. Yeah, an epoch is like huge, if I remember correctly.
I think it's just a significant moment that had to be represented by a particular phase or whatever else.
I think you're just thinking of like an age.
No,
you're thinking you're thinking in the Lord of the Ring terms of age.
No, I'm not.
Now, just a brief aside. Could you imagine if that's how timekeeping was?
What?
when like instead of the Gregorian calendar, which arguably was like, when that was introduced, I don't know when, like the 1100s, I think. Sure, it shook up things for a while because everyone had to adapt to the new system, but we've used it now for years and we get it. But like in the Lord of the Rings, they just go, some major event happened? Well, it's time for a new age. We're going to start back at 0 with the years. It's like, can you imagine? Because think about it. The Gregorian calendar was introduced about 1,000 or so years ago. So like there could be some random new age because of some random reason nowadays.
Yeah.
Imagine what that would be like if just tomorrow they introduced a new year system. Anyways, just a brief thought. What were we talking about before?
You were talking about
the excesses of modern culture.
No, you had a moment of.
Oh yes, it was.
You off with
not in like a seminal, like, whoa, my life is forever changed. But it was
okay. That's what I was getting at.
It was more just I was on a plane, and I was listening to a song that I liked.
Sounds like a Seinfeld bit.
Okay, Jerry, you're not doing Jerry Seinfeld enough credit. I don't think he would have ever opened with I was on a plane and I was listening to a song. I don't know where this thing leads, but whatever. And I realized there was a lyric in it that I was like, I don't actually quite know what that means. It wasn't that I didn't know what the lyric said. I just didn't know exactly what it meant. And so I was like, I'm going to look it up. And then I realized, I'm on a plane. I don't have my airplane thing. I had my phone's on airplane mode and I can't look it up. And I was like, but I am really curious about it. So I made a note on my phone to look it up. I was like, I want to look this up once I'm back where I have Wi-Fi. And that's kind of like, you would appreciate the internet a lot more if you had to do it like that. We were going, we only turn the generators on for these few hours, so whatever internet-based needs you have,
right,
you can only use them then. And that's you'd appreciate that, because a lot of stuff you'd let go of. You'd be like, I'm not going to store up 500 random questions I don't actually know. Yes, was that guy in that movie? Who cares? I'm never going to see that movie again. I can already tell that this wall is fake.
What's interesting about
but I can't destroy it. This must be where one of the Riddler rooms is, because I can't. It's not explodable because it would show up otherwise.
Is that self-regulation is possible? It's just that when somebody else isn't doing it for us, it's a little.
Well, it's true that it's possible, but like, when's the last time you tried that?
Right.
Everyone knows. Am I?
Which
I'm just a great big sook. It was just. It's right there.
Open your eyes. Stick your head out the window.
Stick your head in the rafters. It's not even that hard to get. That's okay, well, I thought I'd had my back claw. Oh, just in time. Why are we doing a bunch of Riddler stuff? We should be getting on with the actual plot. What missions do we have to do? I keep pressing the wrong buttons.
Know. I haven't even seen the Riddler yet.
You don't meet him until the end. You have to collect all of his stuff before you get to meet him.
They build it up, and then he's trash.
That's why I don't much care for him. Okay, so we actually are getting... I want to do... Okay, so here's the problem with... These we can't control. These is just whenever we happen to find the guy.
Okay.
This is similar. We're only 35% of the way through. That means we've only found the first body. Because I'm pretty sure there's 3 bodies that you discover that have the faces missing. Because that's the Hush side quest. And we're at 30%. That means we can only have found one of them.
So maybe let's focus on the main missions for a while.
Well, I suppose, but the problem is, where are our main missions? I don't actually know which one of these are main missions. I think these are all side missions. Our main missions aren't on here. We're not super far. We're probably more than halfway through the actual plot.
Anyway.
I don't want to risk these. And like acts of violence, these just happen around town. So it's like these 3 we don't have control over. We do need to go into the steel mill to get the last canister, which is also where the next plot mission is. And Zaz happens randomly too, and so basically with the Riddler stuff, yeah. Well, I suppose we could do this next mission. That'll help us get rid of Bane and at least advance us slightly in the plot without taking us too far. Unless, do you see anyone getting assaulted?
No.
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 It would be those little octagon thingies, and they're not showing up, so...
Somebody having a cage fight or something?
Titan canister and steel enter the location. Well, this will actually get us back on track, because we've done a lot of faffery in the last couple episodes where we've... Well, part of that's been mechanical, because my computer, I shouldn't speak of, but... anywho. Well, so, yeah. Are we done with our pontifications about... Ooh, okay. I feel like it's a good... Ooh, that's awfully grim.
Is he dead?
Dude,
Wow.
It's Stephen Amell.
That's a stretch.
Well, so is whatever he's doing. Actually, no, he's looking pretty leisurely. Well, yes, let's just get right up in his face. Ooh! Okay. Ooh! Oh, sorry. Get back. That's... Wow. Oh, he's on his side. I totally thought that this was some sort of weird jumpsuit and that was just his shoulders with his head missing. He's laying down. He's having a sleep. You mean to tell me that none of these guys are an answer to a riddle?
Maybe he's not even dead. Maybe it's just a booze snooze.
Well, there's one way to answer that.
Start up the ride. I'm just playing.
Normally it'll tell me...
There's one way to answer that. Scare the crap out of a bunch of sleeping drunks.
Well, okay, normally when you look at a corpse... Oh, that's a phone. Well, okay, Zaz is obliging our desire to get stuff done. Normally when you look at a corpse, not a corpse. Normally when you look at a body that you're not sure is a corpse, it'll actually tell you if they're deceased or not, but it didn't. We're getting close to the end of the Zaz, actually, so this is not as bad a sidetrack. But anyways, I think you should appreciate stuff more. Because a lot of stuff you'd let go of, especially with the internet, because I think, all technology can be taken advantage of, but I think the internet can be taken the most advantage of. Or rather, taken the most for granted. Like, because it has literally anything on it, like, there's limitations to a lot of technologies, even the ones we use frequently. Whereas the internet is literally like, it just has everything you could ever need, and so everyone just goes, well, then I guess I don't need to do anything ever again.
Yes, but I feel like people now are falling into the same trap as what the newspaper used to be, which is that if it's in the newspaper, it must be true.
Well, that's...
And it's like,
yeah.
Well, okay. And I know that dates me a little bit, but I mean, just
Well,
now,
there,
I mean,
another way.
On an internet level, you go, well, if it's on the internet, and I know that there's a little bit more
Okay, we're getting close.
Awareness, I suppose.
It's right here? What? I bet you it's... I know that there's one in this basement, but I can't get there in time. I think I have to go through the window.
I bet, the idea that there's a bit more of an awareness of parody, I suppose, on the internet, but at the same time, people read it and they go, oh, that must be accurate.
Well, that's why you should never be on the internet on April 1st.
Sure.
Well, because, no matter what, you always forget when it's April 1st.
Well, here's a better question. Why was that even a thing?
That is a good question, because I don't know. But the internet made it far more possible to spread your nonsense on April 1st, and then...
Well, especially when people do really stupid things, like they act like somehow they're pregnant or something dumb, where people start taking it seriously, and they go, oh, congratulations. It's like, oh, it was a...
Well, yeah, because
then... ruse.
Well, because then, especially... I heard... Again, we're gonna go back to Let's Drown Out again, because... Why not? But they had they had a discussion about it where you're going, there's no trickery or skill in convincing someone of something that they have no reason to not believe.
Right.
So it's like, if you tell someone, I mean, I suppose, well, I was going to say if you're single, I suppose it would come across as slightly more of a shock to announce that you're pregnant, but even then, it wasn't below ground. I was right next to it. I was just being a silly. It's right there. Okay, come on, get it, Batman. But it's like, if you're a dude and you post, I'm pregnant on April 1st, and people believe you, okay, they should have been smarter than to fall for that.
Yes, that's true.
But if you're just like a random person, then they have no reason not to believe you. I mean, I suppose once again you could argue if you're like a super conservative person, so it would be surprising to people that was the case, and your signal, I suppose. Then it's like, okay, maybe. But even then you go, well, then you've just deceived people into something that isn't unbelievable, but is just perhaps unexpected. And that's not really any better.
That speaks to the larger commentary of that particular type of humor, which I go, that's not even that funny, because it doesn't take any level of cleverness or wittiness.
The only cleverness in that brand of humor, we're probably only one phone call away from finishing the Zaz.
I'm only one
Get him.
call away.
You can't go making musical references that don't make sense. You gotta
make sense to some people.
They make to you and like one other person. We might not even. Yeah, I think we're probably only one away. But now you've lost my train of thought.
That particular brand of humor. Get back on track.
Yes, the brand of humor. Yeah. So the only time when that's really funny is when you have to convince someone of something so ludicrous that it's like, okay, it actually took some cleverness to get them to believe that.
But to me, that's a different type of humor.
No, it's the same thing. It's just a proper application of the same basic principle.
Well, yes.
You're going, if you can convince, because you can convince some idiot on the internet that the Earth is flat. Sadly, that's not as hard as it should be these days. But like, if you
didn't know it wasn't. Sorry.
But if there's the one from a long time ago, which was, you've heard the whole dihydrogen monoxide bit, where it's like, oh, dihydrogen monoxide is a super dangerous substance, and it could kill you if a single drop of it was in your bloodstream, and you could die from drinking it too much. And if you're in an environment that's full of it, you'll die. And it's like, it turns out the dihydrogen monoxide is just a fancy way of saying water. So you're going, yes, it takes a bit of clever trickery to get someone to not realize that. But it's like it's not just, oh, I'm pregnant. You don't have any reason not to believe me, but I'm going to make fun of you for believing me. I don't know. Come on now. Are we done? Are we done soapboxing?
Well,
I'm not sure that qualifies as soapboxing.
No,
the Amish topic qualified more. Boy, I feel like you'll understand how I got here, despite the fact that it's tangential. I feel like at some point in everyone's life, regardless of your religious beliefs, you should just live in a monastery. Not because of any spiritual experience, even just because it's like, what? It's a very different lifestyle.
Back to that self-discipline thing.
Yeah, where you're going, even if you could, well, I don't know. Are there monasteries for non-religious organizations?
I'm sure there are.
I'm not sure what you'd call them. I think they call them gulags these days.
Stay away from the gulag.
There's a guy up here that I want gone. I'm going to call Frank Sinatra and he'll take care of it. Whoa, that dude had some reflexes. Frank was surely you of all people would know Frank was a
thug.
Thug's putting it light.
Thug's a little strong.
No, I think Thug's putting it lightly. He was major league involved.
Yes, but he was a mobster, which is far.
Well,
different
he wasn't
than
a ground. I suppose, he wasn't an actual ground level. He wasn't doing the work, but he was calling the work to get done.
And I'm sorry for anybody who is a fan of him. I am as well, but I also readily admit he was the entire Rat Pack was somehow involved with the mob. Sorry.
I see. This is how you know that you're more involved, because I don't know what the Rat Pack means.
Okay.
I should have taken this guy out silently instead of what I'm doing. Was it just the name for his crew?
No, I believe it was Sammy Davis Jr. himself and Dean.
Well, that's sad. I knew about Dean. I did not know Sammy Davis Jr. was a mobster. And then the only other one was Bing Crosby, who wasn't a mobster. He was just kind of a terrible person.
He's kind of a jerk.
Okay, they know. Dang it, I should have taken that guy out silently, because now everyone knows. Everyone knows. There you go. Boom! I just pulled a reverse on you.
What?
I just pulled a musical reference no one but me and one other person will get. I feel like you should get more than a gold star if you get that one. We'll give you the platinum star. Critical strikes. No. Gotten all the
I'm
Predator
glad somebody
stuff.
else knows that platinum is more valuable.
Everyone knows that. Anyone who's flown on an airline knows that.
Well, but
or
sure.
who's had a credit card or a hotel membership. I mean, everyone knows that these days.
That's true. Well, but they always now switch to like gold and then diamond membership. It's like, no.
Well, is diamond more than platinum? I think diamonds would be more valuable than platinum.
Well,
these
technically,
days.
yes. Platinum is less valuable still than diamonds, but I'm just...
Wrong button! Wrong button!
Oh, you almost pulled a me there. That was
well,
kind of an
I'm about to
interesting
die, so I
entrance,
think
though.
I did pull a U. Whoa! That was a shotgun to the noggin. And quite a glorious ragdoll, too. Your ice cream has turned to soup. It's now coconut cream soup. If you were to... If coconut trees grew in the Arctic, that's what would come out. What? I don't know what I'm on about anymore. Did you hear the whole story about how Black Mask escaped? Because the Riddler wants to know.
What?
It was the riddle that just came up. Oh, what did I get? I don't care about these last few, so just get whichever one. I never use these because once you get... These are the... Like, we ran out of ideas things.
Or what?
That's probably slightly more useful because it disables firearms despite the fact that you already have the combo which disables firearms, but... All it does is you can disable their gun, I think only once. Because like if you're stalking a guy, you can disable it. It's the same thing that disables mines. And it'll jam their gun from a distance somehow.
Where am I going?
In.
In, that's helpful.
There's a bunch of Joker dudes outside the door, and we got to clean them up before we can get in. Yeah, see, even Joker's giving us some...
Where?
Get on your X-rays. They're down there. They're down there. Not there, on the other side. Other side.
No.
Turn around. Yeah, so there's these guys all guarding. There's a door down there. There's the snipers. You're gonna do the... No! Okay, well, sniper, just beware. Sniper, beware.
Can I not?
I told you these Joker thugs would take you places.
What?
Wow, you should have at least gotten that one.
I told you.
Sniper, beware.
No.
Now you're just acting like you get it. Batman looks like he's got a soul patch in that. Why is this?
That was his younger days.
Oh, and that's the screenshot when he looks disappointed. I was sad when I edited the last video where it got cut out, where we lost that footage, because that was the one I was commenting on. He looks like he's just going, well, we deserve that. Alright, we'll try how this works. LT and RT hold. Cool. Sure. Anyways. So are we done proselytizing? Is that the right word? Probably not in this context.
Well,
He's dead.
He's dead.
Ooh, he's a looking
I
away.
have recently taken up... I think we've maybe talked about this without being maybe recorded.
You colossal fruitcake!
He saw you.
How did you even...
I'm recently taking up watching some classic...
I'm afraid you're kind...
Some classic... I don't even know what to call what I just witnessed.
Some classic whale calling. It's a lot of Joker thugs.
Why am I so bad at hide and seek?
Thugs always shoot me. Okay. That guy, see, we're going to pull the ultimate Batman trick on him. He was just following us, being like, he went up on that rooftop. Now, I'm mad that he didn't fall off the roof there. Whoa!
That was kind of...
Because okay, his friend just threw a grenade at him. Batman's dead up there.
I've recently
Well, they know I'm here now,
taken up watching some old classic movies. Like
you're joining me on the film buffery. You're getting film buffed? That works in, I suppose,
working
multiple
out,
contexts.
getting
Because I was...
yoked in
Yeah, see, you're going to take it the muscle way. I was thinking of like an actual, like polishing, like a car.
Oh, well, yeah.
You're getting buffed? I suppose that sounds a little more suspect. This is the ultimate challenge. I now have very limited health because of my former foolishness.
With what?
Because I got shot multiple times by the sniper as I was running away. So I now have to be extra careful because pretty much one shot will probably knock me right out.
So anyway,
buddy, you
I
should
found
come
out
down
as
here.
I was doing some research on some of the movies that I wanted to see.
Okay, well, so at what stage in the process? Contemplative.
No, I'm saying...
You're saying you're doing research. Have you actually watched an old film yet?
Yeah, I mean...
Okay. Well, give us drop attack. Dang it, I missed it.
So
Can I still do it from here?
I really want to see... and
I'm dead.
so
I'm dead.
I can't
Are you
remember.
serious?
I can't recall whether you liked this movie. This isn't the old
You should
movie.
get Letterboxd so we can compare notes. Okay. Hi, it's me. I meant to push... Whoa.
Bing bong, it's Batman.
Oh, well. Bang bong, it's me. It's Batman. Give me the Joker.
I figured wrong.
Well.
So,
Cool, and
This
then
isn't one-
give us a title.
So this isn't one that I have watched yet, and this particular movie isn't old. It's
See, look how
it's a more
disappointed
modern
he
movie,
looks.
but it refers to an old movie. Is Home Alone?
We've
So-
already discussed this.
No. You haven't. I don't
discussed
think
the fact
we've discussed.
that the mob movie in that doesn't actually exist.
It does though, and this is what I found out.
Now you're contradicting even
I
your
know.
old self.
No, listen. It doesn't exist in the title of the movie that actually is on there. However,
Well, so
what
it was
I
just a
found
copyright
out-
problem.
what
They
I
took an
found
old
out,
movie that they didn't have the name
essentially-
for. Well, then why? Well, that's
So-
stupid that took that much tomfoolery to find.
So
Whoa,
that was
What was that? Was some anime power? Okay, you're okay. There's still snipers.
I didn't mean to fly right in front of him.
Now all of Gotham knows you're here. Gold star reference for that one too. Whoa!
So I found out that because the movie that's in that, or the sub movie or whatever, the old movie that he's watching in that particular blockbuster is Angels with Filthy Souls, I believe is what the
So
title
now that's
is.
the actual film, or that's what they called it in the
No,
movie?
that's what they called it in the movie.
Okay, because you mentioned that,
So
and that is not a real movie.
correct. What the actual movie is, and I discovered this, and now I'm excited about it, and I have not seen it yet, but we have to see it, is the actual movie is called Angels with Dirty Faces. And I'm like, it's some sort
No,
of
I thought I could have
mobster-ish
sworn I
movie.
heard you say that too.
No, this is this
so
one's
we
a real
gotta-
movie, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I'm excited about
Okay,
that.
so I already took out the thing.
So that
Spin around, please.
I was intrigued. What are like some of the I recall us again. This was off.
So how about you
this
give
was off
us? But
script.
first, let's furnish us with a topic you have, with a film you have actually seen, because now I'm curious.
Well, I haven't actually seen a lot yet thus
so,
far.
so the
because of
sniper's
fact
gun
that-
is now jammed.
because of the fact that
Wow, and now he'll turn around. Just wasted that ability. Okay, you said you had seen some.
well, like okay, primarily ones that I've watched with my brother-in-law. So like the Happiest Millionaires one.
well,
and
you had
it's-
already seen that though.
Yes, but so I'm saying I've started with some of the old movies
and that's
that I go.
I'm not.
It's
No
not-
offense to our brother-in-law. I wouldn't call that a classic old movie. It's an
No,
old
not
movie
necessarily
with
a
it.
classic old movie, but what are some of the ones that are on your list? Because I don't know.
Well, the problem is it's been a while since I've pursued that, and I don't know which ones are on my list that I have not yet seen. Philadelphia Story is one I have not yet seen. I know that one. A lot of, funnily enough, it's a lot of Jimmy Stewart movies, which, I mean,
yeah,
that's reasonable.
we just recently, you and I watched the.
Well, yes.
What's it called? That one is definitely a classic. That you
I-
can't take it with you.
I don't think that's a classic.
People would know it.
They would know it
probably.
more from the play than from the film.
Maybe.
Okay, so we've now revealed that we're here.
This one is a little bit more new, but I feel like it would be considered a classic, even though it's not necessarily old.
Well,
Is
how old?
the Godfathers? I feel like those are.
what, 80s, 70s?
I think
they
they
were
may have been
old-ish.
late 70s. Yeah.
It's probably too young to be considered a classic unless
Well,
you
see,
want to
that-
start calling stuff like, I don't know, Rambo a classic.
Right. Some Like It Hot is probably a classic.
That's
We've
because
seen
that's
that.
definitely old. I haven't because it sounds weird to me.
It's a little bit like...
So you're telling me
It's a
it's
it's an original White Chicks, right? White Chicks was kind of a remake of that.
I haven't seen that either. I thought you were talking metaphorically, like you were going to say it's an original White Chicks movie, and I'm like, I would have known what you meant by that.
No.
You need to come towards me,
But,
bro. So
yeah,
you mean to
I'm
tell me that
excited
that your goal of like I would want to watch some old films, and you didn't start with the arguably only mega famous classic old film?
I'm assuming you're meaning Casablanca, but...
Yes, and you mean you didn't...
I have not yet watched that
Well,
one,
it's
no.
good, and you should.
Is it? But
And
is it
it's-
slow? Because what I'm finding
it's
is
not-
that old
they're
movies are
definitely
more
slow.
comfortable at being slow.
Yes, but I actually like that about them sometimes. Casablanca's slow, but it... Not in a bad way. Because it's much more... I don't know. They're a little more contemplative in that time because they kind of could be.
So now, what about like something such as Singing in the Rain? Was that...
I love Singing in the Rain, and I think it counts. It's
kinda counts as a
late...
classic.
Late 50s, I think.
Yeah.
It might even be early 60s, but I think it still counts.
And
I
then-
like old movies because didn't we have the discussion about how the reason I think we talked about this in our original chat is that the reason I decided that I wanted to try old movies is that the only area of my life in which I had regularly seen old movies was you jerk was in the Christmas film category because there's quite a lot of old movies in that,
Well, that's...
such as White Christmas and and It's a Wonderful Life, which are two of... It's a Wonderful Life is honestly one of my favorite movies, just like in general.
And the... who was it? The guy who plays Mr.
And it's
Potter.
Jimmy Stewart again.
No, but I can't remember who plays Mr. Potter.
Lionel something? I think it was Lionel Barrymore? I think it was Lionel Barrymore.
Anyway, he's in the...
Is that all of these guys?
You Can't Take It With You, and I felt like that was interesting
Yeah,
because he actually had a medical condition apparently that he had to
Yeah, the
overcome,
reason Mr. Potter is in a wheelchair is because the actual actor could not walk at that stage in his life.
which is sad, but it's interesting
Well,
that he just figured it out.
Well,
I mean, that's...
yeah, he made do. So that was everybody. That wasn't as hard as we were making it out. I think we were just being dumb.
Well,
Okay, so we're going back into the steel mill for the second time.
but I also think a genre within old classics that is wrought with great...
Is the Western.
No. Spaghetti westerns are not really my thing. I'm not...
Whoa.
I mean, I suppose you have to watch some in the whole John Wayne era.
Well, that takes care of...
What?
The Titan canister's right here. We could almost just go right back out and go talk to Bane, but maybe we shouldn't do that. I don't know. So this is the new gimmick. Is that for some reason... Ow, hi! I should have thought that you'd hear that. For some reason, these weird intercom mannequins are just scattered around and she can hear us whenever we press one. Like, I don't get it. This is one of those things that feels like it was added purely so you could break them, because that's one of the perks, and that you get a Riddler objective for is to break all of Harley Quinn's stuff.
Why do you care?
Because we're gonna 100% the
No,
game.
I'm saying, why does Riddler care?
Well, that's the ultimate question of anything. Why does Riddler do any of this? Arguably, you could make the argument based on this game alone that Riddler is the most unstable of all the Arkham inmates. Simply because he does crap like this.
So, I think spaghetti western, you probably have to watch some John Wayne movies, and...
I'm curious about,
What about-
the John Wayne stuff. There's a few of those on my
What
list.
about, who's the other guy outside of John Wayne?
What's he going to draw this time? Boring.
It's a butterfly.
It's a fly. Like a Batman fly. Not again. Well, we'll just blow up that particular pile of... Wait, this time it is a smile. Batman's inner mood is changing. He's like, I broke a couple guys' legs. I'm in a good space right now.
So, the
There
genre
we go.
that I
All
was thinking of,
Titan
though, is
canisters.
horror. Actually has a
See,
great...
that's...
Alfred Hitchcock has some
I'm
great
a little
classics.
less interested in the genre as a whole. Like,
Yeah,
I just am
but
like,
I'm just saying you can't say you're a movie buff if you don't watch at least a couple Alfred Hitchcocks. I mean,
Well, but that's why I'm not confident I need to say that. I don't know.
I don't know that I am a fan of horror when it gets
Now,
into the...
We're going to need to be a little careful this time through the steel mill because there's no reason to come back after we go through this playthrough.
So
we might as well get all the Riddler stuff while we're here.
Well, that's true. And it was...
It's just another bacon.
Bacon.
You can stand right up close to that stuff and not get hurt, and I find that a little strange.
But I find that within the horror category, I am more, I suppose, a
Come on now.
suspense fan.
Well,
more
I'm
than
certain
I am
we talked
like a proper horror.
Well,
game.
and we talked
fan.
about the whole like torture, gory,
Right.
gross part of the horror camp, which is really just, ooh, mate, isn't this nasty?
Well,
You'd certainly hate to have this happen to you, wouldn't you? It's like, that's not okay.
don't look away.
Yeah, it's a little like, this is just an endurance test. This is not, okay, what? Okay, hang on, though. I gotta get across the water. How do I...
Well, and I think old
I
horror
can-
was less
Well, because I think
like
that people were a little more decent back
Yeah,
then.
I got a little tropey after a while. It was like, okay.
Well, like the saw is the quintessential, like, yeah, wouldn't this be nasty? Well, you got to saw your own arm off, or I'll do it for you, or I don't know, logical. That's a dumb password. Of course, it was the Riddler. I should have guessed.
So anyway, yeah,
I don't know.
I'm gonna try to take that up.
I suppose if there were some that were more up my alley. If anything, I'm actually somewhat curious. They're not probably considered classics, but I'm curious about Peter Jackson's repertoire. Because when
What has he done again?
Oh, he's done almost exclusively horror movies. In fact, just about everything he did before Lord of the Rings was weird, small-budget horror movies.
like what?
Well, none of them were super well-known. Probably the most well-known would have been something like The Frighteners. I believe that was him. The Frighteners, or was it... I think that... I don't know. Now I'm not sure. But there's a fair few I've heard that I'm kind of like, oh, this sounds interesting at the very least. Because I read his... It's both. It's sort of a combination biography / film history book. Because it claims to be about the creation of the Hobbit... not the Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings movies. But it's also very heavily a biography of Peter Jackson's life. Which is a good book. It's called... I think it's called More Than You Can Imagine. Or Everything You Can Imagine. I don't know. It's something like that. But it's about Peter Jackson, sort of... I guess you would call it mostly about the making of the Lord of the Rings movies, because the chapters about his early filmmaking history sort of are used to illustrate his growth into that production.
Right, as his kind of pinnacle.
Yeah. But it's still very fascinating. Okay, window there with dudes. But a Riddler thing. So yeah. They mentioned a bunch of them in that I was kind of curious about. So like one of them is Heavenly Creatures, which is probably another of the most famous ones, which is evidently based on a true story of like these twin sisters who were nuts and killed people.
Oh, well, that's sad.
Like, yeah. I don't know. I'm curious, and then The Frighteners I've heard of, which is a sort of more goofy. At least I think it's good. I could be getting that wrong with something else, but I think it's like some sort of weird ghost zombie type movie. I'm sure anyone who's seen it's going to rip me apart and be like, "You don't know what you're talking about." It was a long time since I read the book.
So
is that all the new films you have filmed?
I haven't not done a lot of the actual watching of them, because that's what I'm still kind of in the stage of gathering all the ones that I want to see, because I want to make sure that I have a good swath of not just one particular genre or subgenre. But,
there's got to be a reason for these hooks, right?
They're just there to keep you distracted.
Well, very well could be, but I got to check now. Like I said, I'd rather get this done.
So...
Oh, dumb fence. So...
Yeah, so I'm interested in doing that. I think... I don't know that I would ever watch enough. I think on a purely quantitative level.
Well, you could
I
never
won't
watch all the movies ever.
Well, I'm just saying I wouldn't ever watch enough that I would consider myself safely a film buff. However, I think that being able to watch some of those
I would
classics...
also argue any true film buff probably would agree
That what?
that they haven't seen enough to truly... It's the whole Dunning-Kruger effect.
Well, yeah.
I mean, anyone who knows what they're talking about knows that they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that really was just there to throw us off. And now these guys know Kay. How? How did they figure this out?
They just... Something's coming.
Well, that robbed me of my chance for the fun break through the window entrance.
Oh, it was a window.
Boy.
I didn't realize that. I thought it was a door, so... Well, that makes
That
more
would
sense.
have been a very large door.
Well, and it would have been very confusing at why they would have known that you were out there. So now with the window context...
They're
it's-
clairvoyant.
They're clairvoyant.
Well, there you go. You should get Letterboxd, because that way we could keep track.
Now, to my understanding, Letterboxd is like...
It's Goodreads for movies.
Yeah, okay.
We had the whole... And then you could see what's on my list, and I could see what's on yours, and we could... I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to commit to making that like a regular... I was going to be like, oh, and then we could do like regular film stuff. And I'm like, we're never going to commit to that.
No.
No guns for anyone today. Oh, boy.
But yeah, I thought that...
Get out of here.
I think that some of those older movies they had to focus more on the...
Well, they had to we talked about that
I think
in the Star Trek thing. They had to focus on what they could do as opposed to what they couldn't.
Well, but I think it parallels
I know
old
that
video games in that they had to focus more on plot and actual storyline because they knew the
effects weren't gonna...
effects couldn't carry it. You know.
Well, that didn't stop some of them from trying, but then again, I think those were the ones that
but
didn't
then you
quite
get
make
into
it.
like Raiders of the Lost Ark territory, and that's
Okay, see, you're more negative about that than I am, because while I agree the effects in that are not stellar,
they're more than not stellar.
that's not the reason I don't like that movie very much.
Why do you not like it?
I just don't find them as interesting as a lot of people do.
How so? Though? I mean, like,
I'm not exactly sure why. It just occurred to me that we haven't been checking. I at least haven't been checking the monitor this whole time, but thankfully it's still good.
I've been watching
Well,
the record show.
I can't trust anything anymore. So Joker's looking better.
What does that mean?
Joker's looking better. How did that happen? Plot relevant, eh?
Put some more makeup on.
It's actually he's wearing a Joker mask on top of his normal Joker mask.
What?
He's wearing a Joker mask over Joker makeup.
You're still being humorous. I thought you were being serious at that point.
No.
I was like, okay.
Ooh, that's more than a little freakish.
That's a little bit of the
Anyways,
Splicer territory.
so that's the
right
plot of Relevant is somehow Joker's better because of course they stole the cure, so
there. So
we gotta get some of
the
that.
question.
There you go, 3 Harley
okay.
heads. I told you this was one of the new Riddler things because he's stupid.
Yes. So you don't like it because
I just find it.
you felt like the humor wasn't for you?
No, it's
or
not
was
even
it
that. I find that the whole adventure idea behind it of like travel, they go all over the world and they do all this major stuff. It's like I feel like a lot of it is not very relevant. Okay, this was supposed to take down
it's
both of them.
contrived? I mean,
A little like they're like the thing that I'm currently thinking of is the scene in which the chick is hiding in a basket in like the Moroccan city.
Yeah.
And and then like they're trying, and then she gets like she gets picked up by a random merchant. They got to wander around trying to find her. It's like all this does is distract from the actual. What was tense about this was they're being hunted by the guy, and then now it's some kind of weird Benny Hill drama. We're going I'm like, what is this about? Oh, I didn't even see you. Hi. Can I torture you? Oh, rescue. There's clearly 2 levers here. One is not the rescue lever. Which one of these isn't the rescue lever? Well, clearly Neither of them is rescue lever. They should have... I suppose that would have really been in contrast to the normal Batman approach if they let you just torture the dude.
That's why it's so important.
Batfleck would have done it.
Yes.
So do I actually get to talk to this guy? Can I get some information out of him? Because I'm like, hey, you know how I just kind of saved your life?
You know who else would have done it? Nipplebat.
No, he would have... No, he wouldn't have.
The guy would have started laughing at the costume, and he would have walked away in shame.
Well, I was gonna wonder.
Okay.
He was only the moment we turned our back on him. He turned on us. I figured something like that was gonna happen. Hey, look, the Riddler's being stupid again. There's an electrical panel. I know how this works, except I.
So no, the reason I thought the special effects were poor is because.
But see, is that your only reason?
No, it's not my only qualm with it, but I
need electricity to
when
short
you
that
have
out.
a comparison of George Lucas, who literally worked with what he had and still made it look great.
You do realize those films were both made by George Lucas.
But, okay.
Indiana Jones and Star Wars were both George Lucas.
Okay, so if you compare the two, then when it comes to Star Wars and Indiana Jones, I go, okay,
And I'm pretty sure Indiana Jones was after Star Wars.
So all the more reason why I say that doesn't make sense, because he did more with Star Wars to me.
Well, he didn't do faces melting, which is of course the scene you're talking about.
It's like why?
Well, because time had passed, he probably thought that it could be done. And let's not forget that back in the day,
I didn't realize that was George Lucas.
Also,
now I feel sheepish. That's interesting.
Well, I'm not sure
how
that...
did I miss that was George Lucas? Are you sure that was...
I'm sure that it was. The question that I'm now wondering is it may not have been Lucas Arts, because I know... it's one of the two. It was either Steven Spielberg or David Cameron. Not David Cameron. Is it David Cameron? David Cameron's the British...
James Cameron.
David Cameron's the British
Cameron.
Prime Minister.
Now I feel a little less sheepish.
James Cameron is the film director. One of them is also attached to the film. So I don't know if it was their movie that George helped on or if it was in reverse, but he was definitely involved.
No.
Yes.
Steven Spielberg and...
that's the other one. Spielberg and Cameron
Mangold. It was not...
He absolutely... He was involved. I know that to be true.
Who directed? Nope.
I swear he was involved in some capacity.
Who wrote it? Oh, he wrote it.
There you go.
He wrote it. Okay.
Well, that
makes it at least a little less... So... all that means, and it really just makes my argument all the more acute, is that George Lucas, when he was doing it himself, actually pulled it off quite well.
I suppose. There's supposed to be electricity that I can use to short out this breaker box, but I don't see it. Maybe I have to activate some stuff.
It's a bit like...
Wonder. Even as I wonder...
It's a bit like
the Riddler sucks.
I think that we've gotten on this too much, but... It's a bit like the comparison again.
Is you going to bash Disney for some reason?
No, I was going to say it's a bit like the comparison again of Lord of the Rings to The Hobbit. They trusted the special effects too much and decided to lean on those rather than to drown Batman.
That was dumb. I threw the thing and then he just didn't get on it. I need to be back in that room, though. I'll have to do it later, I guess. So anyways, well, there you go.
Film.
But is that's what I meant to ask by that, is that your only reason for not liking the film?
No, it wasn't super engaging to me. I don't know that I've ever really been a huge Indiana Jones fan. I love the ride at Disneyland, but that's about it.
See, I'm not even sure that I love the ride that much. I'll agree that the first one's the better. I have not yet seen the third one. But from the clips I've seen of it, I'm not sure it will contend.
Is the third one the one with...
The third one's the one where... No, that's the fourth one that doesn't actually exist.
It's terrible.
But the third one is the one with Sean Connery being his dad.
What?
Yeah, Sean Connery is Senior Jones. I forget what his name is. But it doesn't sound promising because some of the clips I've seen are a lot more slapsticky than I feel like Indiana Jones is meant to be.
My dad, Michigan Jones.
You realize Indiana's not his actual name.
I know. I'm
Gave
just
them permission.
making a pun.
How do I... Oh, I gotta do the stupid... Ugh. See, at this stage of the game, it's just a rigmarole.
This gets into the territory of like things where you go,
It's a little
even
bit-
though you know you should go through this door, you can't do it until you go upstairs and figure out you have to go through this door.
Whoop. Alright, well...
Games that force you into that kind of linear pattern.
No, that
to me
hasn't
is a
happened.
little-
That's I think, a habit that has mostly seen its day go by.
Maybe.
The whole, I need this item, but the game doesn't know I need it yet, so I have to tell it that I need it. You gotta, oh, this is an oddly shaped hole. I wonder what fits in this. And then,
And then
it's
go
like,
get the
then
key.
go get the thing that fits the oddly shaped key in the oddly shaped hole. Here's the electricity I needed. Except now I have no clue where it was supposed to go. Wee, 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 wee. Wee, wee, wee.
The I'm in you.
Okay, this goes here, and then... Is this the room? That's not the room. I mean, it is a room, but... Well,
This
whatever.
is an interesting.
Well, so perhaps
You know what
in a
this reminds me
non-committed
of?
way... Oh, that's a great... I thought that was an opening. In a non-committed way, there may be more film discussion in the future, but not today.
Not today.
There's a great... I could open... Oh,
This
bo-bo-ba-doo-hoo-loo.
little electrical,
Ah, so this
thing.
is where I needed to... Okay, now I know what I gotta do.
this bit of electricery reminds me of a game that we need to play, which is
Worms.
no. Well, although that's a great game.
There we go.
Which is the Force Unleashed.
I'm not sure that that's terribly well suited to... Well, that was dreadfully far from that, Batman.
It may not be terribly well suited to like repetitive play, but
Yeah, I don't know that we could make a series of it.
no. But I think it's a good game to.
It's enjoyable. It's been a long time, too, so I don't remember. This is just incredibly slow. Can I speed this up at all? Can I speed this up at all?
Is he seriously going?
Yeah,
it
barely.
Doesn't look like it. The current is super slow.
I need to open that somehow. I need to get up here.
Uh,
There we go. I gotta hack a thing. Here we are. Well, we're about at the time. So something. Roman Sionis. Hey, wouldn't you know that's a Batman character? Did you know that?
I could infer based on the fact that it's in this game, but
Well, yeah. Now, if I remember, something somewhat interesting happens in this area. Perhaps we'll get to it first, and then we'll call it quits. First of all, there's clearly a Riddler trophy under there, but we're not going to be able to get it. When does it happen? I think it happens here. Aha!
Oh God, it's you!
Now, I feel like this would damage Batman's credibility a little bit. I like that they put that in the game, but, like, you know that story's going to get out. It'll be like a Reddit AMA. I'm the only person who's ever hit Batman. Ask me anything. Because, you know, he had no reason to believe that she wasn't a threat, so he should have been able to counter that, but I knew it was going to happen, so I wanted to demonstrate it, but...
Sounds like Joker's trying
Yeah.
to stop me with mines.
just trying to
what
stop
if you?
him.
What if you? Did?
If you counter it, you don't actually hit her.
Oh.
It doesn't let you do that. The cutscene just triggers and she still freaks out, but in a more reasonable way.
Don't worry about
Because
I'm about to.
whatever you've been hiding.
imagine that.
I'm about to get decked by Batman. My life is flashing before my
In
eyes.
either way, there's a Reddit AMA in either case. The one civilian Batman punched. Ask me anything.
Is he
Boy.
really as
Oh,
credible?
okay. You can't. We know you can't wield that thing properly.
Joker's crew keep talking
Oh,
like
good,
the other
okay.
ones will win.
So, anyways,
It
it would be like imagine if you're her. It's like imagine you hear a noise late at night. You go and grab your baseball bat, go downstairs, and Batman's in your living room. You'd just be like,
the Batman that goes dump in the night.
you just have to be like, okay, here's the keys. Bye. This is your house now.
Looks like I gotta move.
All right. Well, we could at least agree that Stacey Baker has some spunk.
The question is.
Do you?
The question is, Did she later become some sort of affiliate?
Of Batman? No.
Are you sure about that?
She's an EMT.
Well, based on the comics.
Whoa, okay, based on her eyes, I think she may in fact be Killer Croc.
In
Dude,
disguise.
those bags could carry something that's really heavy. Seriously, okay, laser green eyes, and I think she's part raccoon. She's Raccoon Girl. Look it up. I bet you it exists. I'm looking it up. This is how we end. Okay, shall we place bets?
Oh, I have no doubt it exists because the internet makes everything exist.
Well, okay, I'm talking in a major comic publication, not like,
Raccoon Girl, is that what you said?
Yeah, Raccoon Girl DC.
Anime Netflix.
I see anime doesn't count. Raccoon Girl DC is what I'm looking. Oh boy.
What?
Okay, I knew Squirrel Girl existed. That I knew. Oh, aha, I don't think it does. Okay, Shock It Raccoon is an alternate universe version of Rocket Raccoon. And it does appear to be a real thing. I thought this was someone's, fan attempt.
This makes sense in my fan.
Where it was like, oh, this is a gender swap of Rocket Raccoon, but evidently, nope, she's real. Okay, so some hack at Marvel made a knockoff Raccoon Girl, but I'm letting you by this much. Well,
so maybe that's who it is.
Yes,
she's Shock It Raccoon. She's Shock Batman. I don't know.
Socket Raccoon.
Socket Raccoon.